Welcome back to the Think and Speak podcast. Today, Daniel, we're diving into one of the most useful aspects of English grammar: can and could. Many learners know the rules, but when it comes to real conversations, they often struggle. Why do you think that is?
That's a great point, Emma. Knowing the grammar isn't enough. Learners often hesitate because they don't practice using can and could in natural, modern conversations. The result? They understand English, but they can't respond quickly.
Exactly. That's why today's lesson is practical. We're not just explaining rules, we're showing how to use can and could naturally, for asking permission, offering help, making requests, and talking about abilities.
And we'll give you real-life examples, modern phrases, and conversation patterns that native speakers actually use.
If you want to sound confident, polite, and fluent, this lesson is perfect.
Don't forget to like this video and comment below. What situations do you find hardest when using can or could?
Let's jump in and make your English sound natural today. Daniel, let's start with the basics. Many learners know that can expresses ability or possibility and could is often the past tense. But in real conversations, learners get confused about when to use can versus could for requests, permissions, and polite suggestions. Could you explain the main differences between these two words in modern English usage? For example, why do we say, "Can you help me?" and "Could you help me?" in slightly different contexts? How does tone, politeness, and formality influence the choice? Can you also give examples showing how can and could are used in casual versus formal settings? Finally, what practical tips can learners use to sound natural instead of robotic when using these verbs in everyday conversations? Please provide examples, grammar notes, and modern phrases that are commonly used in daily English.
Excellent question, Emma. Understanding the difference between can and could is essential because they are versatile and appear in almost every conversation. Can expresses ability, possibility, or informal permission. Ability: I can swim. Possibility: it can be dangerous. Permission: informal: you can sit here. Could has several roles: past ability, polite requests, possibility, and suggestions. Past ability: I could run fast when I was younger. Polite requests: could you help me with this? Possibility: it could rain later. Suggestions: we could go to the park. The main difference in requests and permissions lies in politeness and formality. Informal request: can you pass the salt? Friendly: every day. Polite request: could you pass the salt? More courteous, especially with strangers or in professional contexts. Tone is key. Even the same sentence changes meaning with intonation. Rising intonation: question/request. Falling intonation: statement/ability. Examples in casual versus formal situations. Casual: can I borrow your pen? Spoken to a friend. Formal: could I borrow your pen, please? Spoken to a teacher or colleague. Suggestion casual: we can watch a movie tonight. Suggestion polite: we could consider watching a movie tonight. Tips for sounding natural. Use contractions: can't, couldn't, I can't, could you. Combine with softeners: could you, please. Match the situation. Informal with friends equals can, polite with adults/colleagues equals could. Modern phrases: can you give me a hand? Could you check this for me? We could try the new cafe. I can handle this task. Remember, can equals straightforward, casual, ability-focused. Could equals polite, tentative, or hypothetical. Practice by creating mini dialogues using both. Friend: can you help me move this table? You: sure I can. Colleague: could you send me the report by 5? You: of course I could do that. The goal is fluency and natural tone, not perfection. When you practice real-life scenarios, can and could become automatic in conversation.
Daniel, many learners also get confused when using can and could to talk about possibility or ability in the past. How can we explain this clearly with examples that students will actually use in conversation? For instance, how is "I can speak Spanish" different from "I could speak Spanish when I was younger"? Also, how do we express hypothetical situations or polite suggestions using could? Could you provide practical, modern examples, grammar explanations, and conversation patterns that show the differences between present ability, past ability, and hypothetical situations? Finally, how can learners practice these uses without feeling overwhelmed?
This is a common challenge, Emma. The key is understanding time, ability, and possibility. Present ability uses can. I can swim. I have the ability now. She can cook Italian food. She knows how to do it currently. Past ability uses could. I could swim when I was 10. Ability in the past. He could play the piano very well. Something true in the past. Notice, can itself cannot describe past ability. You must switch to could. Hypothetical situations or polite suggestions also use could. If I had more time, I could travel. Unreal condition, showing possibility. We could go for a walk if you like. Polite suggestion. Grammar tips. Past ability, subject plus could plus base verb. Present ability, subject plus can plus base verb. Hypothetical, conditional plus could plus base verb. Modern conversation examples. Past, I could finish this project faster last year. Present, I can finish this project today. Hypothetical suggestion, we could try a new strategy for the campaign. Polite suggestion, could we meet tomorrow instead of today? Practice strategies. Mini dialogues. Create real-life situations. Friend, can you play guitar? You, yes, I can. Friend, could you play for us yesterday? You, yes, I could, but I was busy. Past versus present practice. Write 5 sentences about current skills, 5 sentences about past skills. Hypothetical role play. If I were your manager, I could, or we could. The trick is context. Can equals now, factual ability. Could equals past ability, polite requests, hypothetical situations, suggestions. With repeated practice, learners start automatically choosing the correct verb in conversation.
Daniel, let's now focus specifically on requests and offers in real conversations. Many learners understand that both can and could are used to ask for help, but they are not sure how to respond properly or how to make their English sound more natural and polite. For example, what is the difference between saying, "Can you help me?" and "Could you possibly help me?" How does adding words like please, possibly, or a moment change the tone? Also, how should someone respond correctly to these requests? For instance, what are natural ways to say yes or no without sounding rude? Could you explain the structure of requests using modal verbs and provide practical examples for workplace situations, customer service, and casual conversations? Finally, what mistakes do learners commonly make when forming requests with can and could? And how can they avoid sounding too direct or unnatural?
YouTube channel, Think and Speak Podcast. Title, Learn Can and Could in Real Conversations. Hosts, Mr. Daniel Miller and Ms. Emma Collins. Part 2, continued, Question 3, 200 words. Ms. Emma Collins. Daniel, let's now focus specifically on requests and offers in real conversations. Many learners understand that both can and could are used to ask for help, but they are not sure how to respond properly or how to make their English sound more natural and polite. For example, what is the difference between saying, "Can you help me?" and "Could you possibly help me?" How does adding words like please, possibly, or a moment change the tone? Also, how should someone respond correctly to these requests? For instance, what are natural ways to say yes or no without sounding rude? Could you explain the structure of requests using modal verbs and provide practical examples for workplace situations, customer service, and casual conversations? Finally, what mistakes do learners commonly make when forming requests with can and could, and how can they avoid sounding too direct or unnatural? Answer 3. 500 words. Mr. Daniel Miller, that's an excellent question, Emma, because requests are part of daily communication. The structure for requests using modal verbs is simple. Modal plus subject plus base verb. For example, can you help me? Could you send me the file? Now, let's talk about tone. Can you help me? Is neutral and informal. It's common between friends, co-workers, or family members. Could you help me? Is more polite and slightly more formal. It creates psychological distance and sounds softer. When you add softening expressions, the tone becomes even more polite. Could you possibly help me? Could you help me for a moment? Could you please explain that again? Words like please, possibly, and a second function as politeness markers. They reduce directness. Now let's look at workplace examples. Could you send me the updated report by 3 p.m.? Could you clarify this point during the meeting? Can you take a look at this when you have time? In customer service, could you hold for a moment, please? Can I help you with anything else? Notice that when offering help, we often use can I help you? Could I assist you? More formal. Now let's discuss responses. Polite acceptance. Sure, I can. Of course. Absolutely. I'd be happy to. Polite refusal. I'm sorry, I can't right now. I'd love to, but I'm busy. I'm afraid I can't. Common learner mistakes include using the infinitive incorrectly. Incorrect. Can you to help me? Correct. Can you help me? Remember, modal verbs are followed by the base verb. Being too direct. Send me the file. Imperative sounds rude. Better, could you send me the file? Overusing can in formal settings. In professional environments, could is generally safer. To practice, create situational dialogues. At work, A. Could you review this proposal? B. Sure, I'll take a look. With a friend, A. Can you drive me home? B. Yeah, no problem. Requests are not only grammar structures. They are social tools. Mastering tone makes your English sound mature and natural.
Daniel, for our final question, let's explore how can and could are used to talk about possibility and uncertainty in modern English. Many learners hear sentences like, it could be true, that can't be right, or this could work, but they don't fully understand the subtle differences. How do we use can and could to express possibility, probability, or doubt? For example, what is the difference between it can be dangerous and it could be dangerous? Also, how do negative forms like can't express strong certainty? Could you provide structured explanations, real-life examples, and conversation patterns that learners can use in daily life, business discussions, and decision-making situations?
This is where modal verbs become very powerful, Emma. Both can and could express possibility, but they carry slightly different meanings. First, general possibility with can. It can be dangerous. This means that, in general, it is sometimes dangerous. It describes a general truth or characteristic. For example, driving at night can be risky. Learning a language can be challenging. Now, could expresses a specific or uncertain possibility. It could be dangerous. This suggests uncertainty about a particular situation right now. For example, this road could be dangerous after the storm. That plan could work. So the difference is subtle but important. Can equals general possibility. Could equals uncertain or situational possibility. Now let's look at negative certainty. Can't is often used to express strong belief that something is impossible. That can't be true. He can't be serious. Here, can't expresses logical deduction. It means, I am almost certain this is not true. In business discussions, this strategy could increase profits. It can improve efficiency over time. That can't be the final version, it's incomplete. In daily life, she could be at home. Uncertain guess. She can't be at home, her car isn't there. Strong negative assumption. Grammar structure. Modal plus base verb. Modal plus be plus adjective. Modal plus be plus noun. Examples. It could happen. It could be interesting. He can't be the manager. To practice, try speculation exercises. Look at a picture and guess. He could be tired. She can't be older than 20. These forms are extremely common in real conversations because people constantly evaluate possibilities. When you master these subtle differences, your English sounds analytical, confident, and natural. Modal verbs are small words with powerful meaning.
Daniel, let's go deeper into advanced conversational use. Many learners hear native speakers use could have and couldn't have in sentences like, I could have called you, or, that couldn't have happened. These structures seem confusing because they mix modal verbs with the present perfect. Could you explain clearly how could have plus past participle works? When do we use it to express regret, missed opportunities, or past possibility? For example, what is the difference between I could go and I could have gone? Also, how does intonation change the meaning when someone says, you could have told me? Is it criticism, regret, or simple information? Please provide grammar structure, real-life examples, and practical mini-dialogues so learners can understand how this form appears in modern daily conversations.
Excellent topic, Emma. The structure could have plus past participle is very common in spoken English and expresses past possibility, missed opportunity, or regret. The structure is subject plus could have plus past participle. For example, I could have gone. She could have called. They could have won. Now let's break it down. First, past possibility. It could have rained last night. This means it was possible in the past, but we are not sure. Second, missed opportunity. I could have studied harder. This implies regret. The action was possible, but it did not happen. Difference between I could go. Present/future possibility. I could have gone. Past possibility that did not happen. Now let's examine tone. You could have told me. This sentence can express criticism depending on intonation. If spoken with falling, serious tone, it implies blame. You should have told me. However, in a softer tone, it may simply express regret. Oh, you could have told me. I would have helped. Notice how modal verbs interact. You could have told me. I would have helped. This creates a third conditional pattern. If plus past perfect, would have plus past participle. Example. If you had called me, I would have come. Mini dialogue. A. Why didn't you come to the party? B. I didn't know about it. A. You could have asked me. Another example. A. The project failed. B. We could have prepared better. Negative form. That couldn't have happened. Structure. Subject plus couldn't have plus past participle. This expresses strong disbelief about the past. Example. He couldn't have finished in 10 minutes. Meaning, it's impossible. Practice tip. Write 5 regrets and 5 past possibilities. Regret. I could have started earlier. I could have saved more money. Possibility. It could have been worse. They could have missed the train. This structure makes your English more advanced and emotionally expressive.
Daniel, for our final question, let's explore how can and could are used in informal spoken English, especially in modern digital communication like texting, social media, and casual workplace chats. Native speakers often shorten sentences or use indirect phrasing. For example, they might say, "Can you just send that over?" Or, "Could we maybe push this to tomorrow?" Why do native speakers add words like just, maybe, or kind of? How do these small words affect politeness and tone? Also, how can learners avoid sounding too direct or too formal in casual conversations? Please explain the grammar behind these structures, give real-life examples from messaging and workplace chats, and provide practical advice for sounding natural in modern English communication.
This is a very modern and practical question, Emma. In real-life communication, especially in digital messaging, English speakers soften requests using small modifying words called mitigators. Words like, just, maybe, a bit, kind of, possibly. These words reduce directness and make communication sound polite and cooperative. For example, direct, send me the file. Natural, can you just send me the file? The word just does not change grammar, but it softens the request. Another example, direct, we need to change the date. Softer, could we maybe change the date? Adding maybe signals openness and flexibility. Grammar structure remains. Modal plus subject plus base verb. Can you send? Could we move? But the addition of adverbs modifies tone. Workplace chat examples. Can you quickly review this? Could you possibly check this today? Can we move this meeting back a bit? Could we kind of rethink this strategy? Notice informal phrasal verbs. Push this to tomorrow. Move to a later date. Send that over. Send it. These phrasal verbs make English sound natural. Learners often make two mistakes. Being too formal in casual chats. I would be grateful if you could. Too formal for texting. Being too direct. Do it now. Sounds aggressive. Balanced version. Can you do this now? Could you do this when you have a minute? Negative softening. I can't really finish this today. The word really softens refusal. To practice, rewrite direct sentences into softer forms. Direct. Explain this. Natural. Could you explain this a bit more? Direct. Change it. Natural. Can we maybe change this? Modern English is not only grammar, it's tone management. When you master small softening words with can and could, your English becomes socially intelligent and professionally effective. Thank you for learning with Think and Speak podcast. Like this video and comment below. Which can or could sentence will you start using today?